outrageous predictions for Ohio State's biggest game of the season so far at Notre Dame on Saturday. Nathan Baird from cleveland.com along with Stephen Means, Andrew Gillis will all be there. What's your outrageous prediction for this top 10 matchup, Stephen?
So in the last two seasons actually, in 2021, Ohio State had 300-yard receivers in the same game twice. It happened in the all lost to Oregon when Chris Olave, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Garrett Wilson did it. Then it happened again in the Michigan State game when those three did it again. And then it happened once last year when Marvin and Emeka did it, but also Jaden Ballard joined them because he did a lot of that in garbage time. I'm saying that's going to happen again. Marvin Emeka, and I'll say Julian just to make it more outrageous by putting some names on it. Notre Dame's, their pass defense numbers are pretty good, but also they have played squat in terms of passing offenses. The NC State's the only one who's in the top 100 in the country of teams they played. The other two FBS programs, that they've played are closer to 133 than they are 100. So they have not played a good passing offense yet. So that's part of the reason why I'm picking that is haven't played a good passing offense. Ohio State, I think they might throw the ball around, and they've got the weapons to be able to do it. So, yes, Notre Dame's defense has been impressive, especially that secondary, but they haven't played anybody close to what they're going to play against Ohio State. And I think there's an opportunity for them to throw the ball around the yard a little bit.
Yeah, Notre Dame ranks third nationally in yards allowed per play for the whole defense. That's right behind Ohio State, who's second. But as you said, a lot of that was squashing Tennessee State and Navy and some teams that couldn't move the ball at all. Andrew, your outrageous prediction.
Ohio State gets 3 turnovers. 2 of them are interceptions. I think they're going to go after Sam Hartman. I think this is one of those games where I've said kind of all week that, you need to be aggressive. I think, we talked about this on the pod a little bit. You need to be aggressive. I think there's a limit to this. You are the better team. You have to remember that. You can't give them too many opportunities to counterpunch, but I do think you force Sam Hartman into some situations if you can get in his face and you can force him into some situations that, frankly, you don't want to be put into. So I think this is a game where I still think it's going to be close. I think Ohio State is going to take a lead early and kind of keep a safe distance throughout. And that is going to force Notre Dame into situations where, hey, look, you're going to have to play behind the chains. You're going to have to play behind on the scoreboard. That is not what Notre Dame wants. Notre Dame wants to play 7-0 up, 10-0 up. They obviously every team wants to, but it really benefits Notre Dame if you're able to do that. So I think Ohio State's going to do that, and I think they're going to force Sam Hartman into some decisions that he's going to want back. And I'm going to leave the 1 extra, so I'm going to say 2 interceptions. I'm going to leave the 1 extra for interpretation. Maybe it's a punt block. Maybe it's a field goal. So, I don't know. Pump block, fumble, something. They're gonna get another turnover in some way, shape, or form, but they will force Sam Hartman to throw 2 picks.
Turnovers have been kind of ramping up for this defense the last couple of weeks. Denzel Burke interception against Youngstown State in the end zone, and then just kind of seemed to snowball a little bit last week against Western Kentucky. I'm shocked that I go last and I get to pick something from the pass rush because it's been such a topic of conversation. I was coming up with other things to talk about, and now here I am. I get to pick a sacks thing, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. And it's got to be something outrageous, right? Yeah. So I'm going to say 6 sacks. 6 sacks of Sam Hartman for Ohio State. Because of all the things you're talking about, Andrew, I think that this offense can move the ball against Notre Dame. I think there will eventually put pressure on Notre Dame. And I actually don't think it matters how many of those sacks come from the defensive ends. I know that's not what people want to hear. It's weird that we're 3 games into the season and Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau have combined for 0 sacks. But there's other good players on this defensive line, too. And those guys have 2 of the tough assignments of the night, going against future NFL offensive tackles from Notre Dame. And maybe some other interior guys can get into the league someday, too, but they're not that same level of prospect. And guys like Mike Hall, guys like Tyleek Williams, guys, anybody else on the Ty Hamilton, like you got other guys on this defensive line that could have a big game. And you're going to have Tommy Eichenberg, I think, coming on those blitzes that Jim Knowles loves to dial up for him. So I think this is a game where if the defense comes in and plays aggressive and takes the fight at Hartman and makes him kind of try to succeed on their terms, I think they're going to have to do it by creating some pressure, and I think it's going to come from a lot of places. Much more about that on Buckeye Talk, and get the text 614-350-3315. What we're seeing and hearing right before the game Saturday from Notre Dame Stadium, that's where it's going to be going first from cleveland.com.